It is 12:47 Central African time, and we're coming to you live from Johannesburg in South Africa. Our new Unicef data brief reports that nearly 1 in 5 children in Eastern and Southern Africa are engaged in child labor. The region accounts for almost 1/3 of the global total and has the highest number of children in hazardous work, including mining and construction. UNICEF says children belong in classrooms, not workplaces. And for more, we are joined on the line by Nankali Maksud, Regional Advisor for Child Protection at UNICEF Eastern and Southern Africa. Nankali, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on Africa Update.
Thank you. Good afternoon to you too.
Now, what are the primary drivers behind the high prevalence of child labor in Eastern and Southern Africa? And how do economic pressures and climate shocks, conflict and global funding cuts contribute to this issue? Because when you think about it, if a child is working, it's more than likely a case of taking home something to eat.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. And, indeed, we've launched our report today, and it shows that 1 in 5 children in the region are remaining in child labor. As you rightly pointed out, what's driving this is poverty, it's climate shocks, conflict, it's economic fragility. The combination of all of these in households are making households start to think about where else they can be able to get their income. So you're right, indeed, that just like households, as they lose out on other income, they start to think, what else can we do? The problem with this, of course, is that we're pulling children out of school. We're taking away the opportunity for them to grow up into being productive citizens in the future.
And what role do governments, for instance, the private sector, civil society and communities play in addressing child labor? And, how can they work together to implement a joint roadmap in ending child labor in these parts of the African continent?
Right. So we know what works. The good news is that actually in some parts of the region, we have registered declines in child labor. We know that if we address the issue of a family income, we can be able to reduce or stop families from making these choices. And so what are those things that we can do at household level? Number one is, for example, cash transfers. We can actually look at how to either give really poor families, cash in hand, or look at how to give them opportunities so they can be able to have work so that they don't take children out of school. The other thing we can do is education systems. We have been pushing children into school, but we're not developing an education system that can prepare children to be able to get into jobs in the future. If families look at an education system that doesn't lead to opportunities for them in the future, then they start to explore their options and say, well, maybe this is not for us. Maybe our children can start working earlier and actually be able to have gainful employment. But what they don't know is that actually has a significant impact in the future of these children. For governments, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say that if you look at the kinds of work that these children are generally doing, or most of them are doing, it's hazardous work, which is including mining and construction. What specific strategies can be employed to protect children from these forms of child labor?
So this one is, this one is one that really touches us. A lot of the work that most of the children have been doing to date has been in the agricultural sector. So much of our energy and effort has been focused on the agricultural sector. But what the report is showing us is that now we're shifting into hazardous labor, construction, mining, manufacturing. These are the places where we're seeing children being exposed to dangerous tools, to heavy loads, chemicals, you name it. The good news is about what we have on this part of Africa is that we've got a lot of labor laws in place, but we're not applying them. And so we need to be able to apply our labor laws more strictly. We need to have inspection systems that are taking place. And once again, we need just to ensure that households have the income so that children don't find themselves in those type of environments.
And just in wrapping up, what are the key challenges in implementing continental commitments under Agenda 2063, Agenda 2040, and the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child to eliminate child labor? And how can these challenges be overcome?
We need to be able to prioritize our children. We keep talking about the youth and the dividend that they bring on the continent. As you've rightly pointed out, in terms of policy, we are policy rich. but we're not taking this issue of young people and of children as seriously as we can. Governments need to be able to put the resources down together to be able to ensure that households don't feel these type of pressures. A lot of policies are in place, but they are not being implemented. And so we have policies at continental level, we've got policies in plan at national level, but we need to shift towards implementation. And that means prioritizing budgets, particularly in areas where we know that children are likely to be exposed to child labor.
Nankali, we are going to leave it there for today. Thank you so much for joining us on Africa Update.